I clicked go live and nothing happened. Would you believe that? Oh, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me while I pick up the URL and send it out to the world, telling them that NSA is LIVE. And one more little piece of promotion out to the world that NSA is live.
Jackie's online.
So I see. So I see. Hey, it's G from Native Speakers Academy, and this is an NSA Live test. We're doing a special edition interview with a very good friend of mine who's on the other side of the pond, as they say. The NSA sessions are sessions in which we run through educational ideas to help teachers and students develop themselves in their lives and in their careers. With me today online is Rudy Martinez, a former competitive bodybuilder who now runs his own fitness business. Rudy, can you hear me out there?
Yes, I can. Hello, Graham. Good to
Sup-
be on the
Super cool.
call.
Thank you very much. So, what I thought we'd do today is do a couple of little introduction questions to go through some of the basics of fitness for people who don't have a lot of experience, people who are beginning with it, people who are getting started. So, very simply, if you're not doing a lot of fitness, you're not doing a lot of exercise in your life, when you start, where do you want to begin? Where do you want to begin with that?
Well, the main thing, and this is something I think that's pervasive in every culture now because of massive overuse of marketing, is getting the right mindset. Now, everybody wants to look better. Not a lot of people think about feeling better first. And that's what I always tell my clients. You're going to feel better, and eventually, as long as you're being consistent, you'll start to look better. So feeling healthier is more important than the actual visual results, which a lot of people start out wanting to lose 20 pounds in a month, which is a ridiculous goal. It's not healthy. So when you choose to start a fitness program, be very realistic. See where you're at as far as your conditioning. If you have any experience in the past, you have a better baseline to go off of. But if you're just starting out, really, very simple things. You don't need to buy a $1,500 piece of equipment that you may use for 6 weeks and then realize it's just overkill, or a gym membership that you may not go to. If it's something that you're really serious about and you're going to do it on your own, a simple walk every day, a 10-minute walk turns into 20-minute walk, turns into 30-minute walk. And if you do that consistently 3 to 4 days, then go ahead. If you're ready to add some weight resistance, which is another pillar that you want to really base your fitness off of. You want to have cardiovascular health, you want to have strength and endurance, and you want to make sure that you're maintaining your mobility. So after you start walking, yes, go ahead and start doing a little bit of weight training. You can just use your body weight at first. There's a lot of body weight exercises. You can get some dumbbells and do thousands of exercises with them. But you can start out small. And the thing is to be consistent. And when you realize that you are being productive and you are being consistent, and this could be a week, this could be a month, this could be 6 weeks, and you're ready to go to the gym and you may have a friend who wants to try it, again, go ahead, take the free introductory personal training appointment if you want it. And again, go in slowly. You want to make sure that you're not overdoing it, because what you don't want to do is basically hit a peak of interest and your body's ability to adapt to what you're doing. You don't want to hit that too early, because the quicker you go up, the the quicker you go down. You want a steady increase, and that's what I always tell my clients. I don't tell my clients, "I'll come in and I'll take 10 pounds off of you, and you'll feel sore. You won't be able to walk tomorrow." That's ridiculous, especially with clients over 40, because they're never going to come back. You know, so maintain the proper mindset, consistency over intensity. Start small, have small expectations, and build on those. Build a good foundation of realistic long-term health.
Super. So it starts slow and go with the feel better rather than the look better. It's definitely about how you feel there, and it's enough to start with a short walk for a few minutes every day, and then build things up from there. Which is basically what I did when I started training about 5 6 years ago. After not doing anything for 10 to 15 years, I had to start with walking because my joints couldn't take the pain and the stress and the pressure that I was putting them under. Basically, I had to begin with walk 20, jog 20. My knees and my ankles couldn't take any more stress than than that with the steps, and it was just walk 20, jog 20, walk 20, jog 20, and then build it up slowly from that point onwards. Super cool. So what about the principles of when you want to begin, when you want to improve? When I'm looking for information, should a person join a gym? Should they search online for information? Should they look around locally? What would you recommend?
Well, I think there's two aspects. One's very practical. Like a lot of people will ask me, well, what diet should I use? What's the miracle diet that's going to take this weight off? And I tell them, the thing that's going to take it off of you is common sense. I think one, I say 9 out of 10 people really do know how to eat properly. There's that one person who probably has no clue, but I think most people have common sense in regards to knowing, you don't want to eat a lot of junk food. You don't want to eat a lot of processed food. And even if you don't know this is common sense, you can go online, you can go to bookstores if they're still around, and there's 1,000 resources on healthy dieting. So it's not, there's no secrets to it. It's very basic. You want to eat lean, you want to eat healthy. You don't want excessive carbohydrates. You don't want an excess of too many fats. Fats are healthy for you, but again, you don't want an excess of calories, so to speak. So with training, it's the same thing. If you if you find a resource that you feel is too aggressive, well, yeah, that's not something that's going to be for you. That's not going to keep you motivated. You want something that makes sense to you, that makes sense to your common sense. Like just with me, the way I'm talking, I mean, the way I'm explaining it to you right now, Graham. I mean, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on anybody to, run up a mountain the first week that they train. Uh, you'll know when you come across the right types of websites. And you could do a top 10, top 10 healthiest ways to start exercising, or top 10 ways to start a walking program. The search engines are very easy with that. Like Graham's even told me Pinterest is really good for that. You can get a lot of information off of Pinterest. But do a top 10 or the best ways to start a fitness routine. So you want to take a little bit of comparison, see what works for you, what resonates for you, and then you go from there. So, and then the second thing is to, yes, ask the people around you, the people that are exercising, people that are going consistently to gyms, or the people who eat healthy consistently. Because in the end, those are the people that are really part of your community. They're going to hopefully become supporters of you getting in shape, and they're going to become peers. You may not necessarily train with them or eat with them that much, but they're your tribe basically, and this can extend to like what Graham and I have. We are part of our own little Facebook community, so you can get online and talk to other people. So just be proactive, do your own research, evaluate what it is you're looking at, use your common sense, and then the second aspect is to look at the people around you, your resources that people can give you advice on, the people that are getting results and living a consistently healthy life. Ask them questions, make them part of your support team.
So try to find people who have had similar experiences, use your common sense, and use the internet to try to help you find a tribe, a group of people that you can join who are going to help motivate you. Um, which is a key point, motivation. How do you stay motivated? Because everybody starts, and I imagine most people stop. Like I started and stopped at least 15 to 20 times in my fitness program before I finally kicked things into gear and got things going. So how do you stay motivated?
Well, it's what we've talked about before. It's what Eric Thomas talks about, finding your why. Why do you do anything that you do? Because that's really going to motivate you. You have to find your own individual why, the thing that's inside of you that is going to get you up in the morning and make sure that you eat properly and then make sure that you exercise and you get enough rest. And the thing that's going to keep your stress levels manageable. All those things are going to come from inside of you. It's like what's important to you. For instance, with me, I have two young daughters uh, under the age of 10, and for me, that's become a big factor. Like before, I was in competitive bodybuilding. Uh, I wasn't a health nut. I still am not a health nut, even though I am a trainer. I love pizza and ice cream, but I can't do that. The older I get, the less you can indulge in those things. So, but I have these young kids now, and I have to stay healthy for them. I have to be able to be there for them physically, but also be able to build up my career and my business so that we have the resources they need, or I would like them to have a fulfilling life and have advantages that I'd like to give them. So it goes beyond looking good. Like when I was younger, like I said, with the bodybuilding, I just wanted to look great. I want to be able to walk out on stage and have people cheer for me and take home first place trophies. But that's changed now. I still want to look great, and I do need to look great for my business because I am a trainer as part of the marketing. But it's beyond that. My why is really more about being there for my kids. So you have to find out the why in you. And I've told people vanity is not necessarily a bad thing. If you're a little vain, like, yeah, I really want to get 2 more inches off of my hips. I don't like my hips this way. Well, I would rather you be a little more vain and concerned about that than just saying, screw it. Basically let's do a lost weekend every weekend. Just work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and not care about how you look or how you feel, and basically do just a slow spiral downwards into your aging 60s and 70s, like a lot of people do. It's fine to have a little bit of vanity, but make it use healthy strategies for that vanity. Don't buy a dress that's going to cover everything up. You know, get in shape so that you can wear the dress that you want to, feel really good about wearing. So go ahead, and even if vanity is one of your whys at the moment, use it in a productive, healthy way. Or a competitive thing. I had a client. He really wanted to hike Mount Everest's base camp, and I think he's still on that quest. But that was his main why. That's been his main why for many years. Is to when he can afford to do it because he's saving for it, is to be in shape, to be able to go to altitude, to hike up to base camp. That's his dream. He knows he's never gonna. It's not his priority to get to the top of Mount Everest, but he'd like to do the base camp, which is a huge success on its own. So it could be that. It could be a competitive thing. I have clients who do half marathons or marathons. It could be to inspire somebody in your family that's going through a bad health condition, cancer, or anything like that. Finding your why. It's like you have to wake up, not just, Graham and I, we've talked about this. That's one of the reasons we met, because we share this type of philosophy. Getting up in the morning, knowing what your whys are. Why are you wanting to get in shape? Why are you wanting to do the work you do? Finding those whys for everything. And the thing is, too, as a trainer, I want to know those whys from my clients because I don't want to have to push my clients. Like I want them to be pushing themselves. I want I want their motivation to be coming from within. What I want to do, I want to become a fan of them as their trainer. Like I want to be happy when they achieve a goal. I want to see them producing. I don't want to have to keep pushing them to get somewhere if they're not really wanting to do it themselves. So when they see that I'm a fan, that I'm happy with their productivity, I think it motivates them to stay even motivated more within themselves to achieve those things. So just finding your why from inside, and they can change. And sometimes it could be a little vain, and sometimes it could be some people you need to take care of, or whatever whatever it's going to take. Just find it.
Super. I know that my kids are part of my why as well, and that's a very deep motivation for people to have. How do you? Oh, before I ask the next question, I want to say if anyone's watching this online, if you've got a question for our fitness guru here, Rudy, then you can write it under the video in the comments section, and we will try to get to it in our conversation today, or if you're watching this later, you can write a question and I will forward it to Rudy, and perhaps Rudy will give you a personal answer online in response to your question. And he is a man, in my opinion, who knows more than most, so I'm pretty sure that he could tackle any question that anyone's got out there about health and fitness. So I know that um, you have been doing this for a long period of time. So, what motivated you to get started? What motivated you to get into fitness? What's your personal story?
Well, I had a few things when I was younger. I broke my leg when I was 5. Um, so just having that immobility for the duration of the time it took for it to heal, I think affected my ability to, want to stay strong. It's like having that experience of vulnerability at that early of an age, I think motivated me to want to stay stronger. Plus, I grew up, my dad and a few of my uncles all lifted weights, some of my older cousins. So they were all role models for me, the weightlifting. That's what I do. Like I said, a former competitive bodybuilder. Uh, I had these icons of strength that I saw around me, every day. So that kind of motivated me as well. And also, I kind of was a chubby kid growing up, and about the age of 10, I got a really bad case of pneumonia, and basically lost all my weight. I could barely move. I got so weak, and I've told people, I related this story. I had to go to the hospital to get X-rays on my lungs. My mother got me dressed and got me to the hospital, and it took every ounce of strength for me to even do that. So there I was, laying on the gurney in the hospital waiting for my X-ray, and my mother was standing by the gurney, patiently waiting as well, and I wanted to get her attention. And I was so weak, I couldn't speak, I couldn't move. I was literally that weak. It scared the heck out of me to be that weak and not even be able to get my mother's attention with her standing right next to me. Well, eventually, luckily, I recovered, and really that's what pushed me the hardest to want to get some strength back. So that's when I got into working out, and then from there it just kind of progressed. Started reading the bodybuilding magazines, and from there, uh, once I once I was old enough, I competed in my first bodybuilding contest as a teenager, and then I took some time off because I was going to college at UCLA, and then after that, I competed into my early 30s, and that was pretty much. I had had enough of competition. I may end up going back. Who knows? I always talk about it. But since then, I've opened my own business. I've gotten a family now, so my priorities are a little different. So, but it's good. It's like, there's times where, yeah, I'm so busy, I get out of shape, but I can always go back to it because I've developed this this history of wanting to be stronger and feel better about myself in that respect. So for me, it was always overcoming some sort of weakness, whether it was the broken leg or the pneumonia or anything like that. So that's where I come from, and as Graham knows, I haven't said it yet. I worked in physical therapy for 10 years, so that's really where I base a lot of my training programs off of, a lot of rehabilitative stuff. So obviously, I've had the background for that as far as overcoming some injuries myself.
Wow. So when you've been in this industry, in this business for so long, how do you stay motivated?
To stay in shape or to continue running my business, or both.
Well, I think what's interesting for people is to stay in shape, and then maybe also to run a business for a longer period of time is also interesting.
Yeah. Well, for me, like I said, I've always had to stay in shape to a point to be, an example to my clients. Nobody wants a fat trainer, so I've always been, in decent shape, not in the shape I used to be. But again, this goes back to finding your tribe. It's like people that are going to support you because I work for myself. Like I used to train at Gold's Gym in Venice back in the 80s, and if anybody knows anything about that, that was basically uh, it wasn't the golden age. It might have been the platinum age of competitive bodybuilding back then. All the champions used to train there. I used to see these just incredibly well developed champions come in, and even got to know a few of them. So I was around that all the time. I was able to, and I was training to be a competitive bodybuilder myself back then. So I got to see, the spectrum of what you're capable of doing. And but now that I'm working by myself, and I'm basically, the big fish in the small pond, most of the time, the motivation has to come from outside. And what I really realized is, especially with Facebook, I now have like 3 or 4 guys that I know of that were either older guys or they're younger guys who, either are competitive in bodybuilding or just recently retired. And we basically talk shop, which is something I've missed for a long time. So that's motivating me now, So it's just finding something that's going to motivate you. If it's me like looking through my old bodybuilding videos and say, oh yeah, I got to get my butt in shape, or I don't have a lot of mirrors in my gym, but standing in front of a gym mirror and like, hey, I don't look as good as I used to, For me, yeah, like I said, a little bit of vanity is good because it gets my butt in gear to get in shape. And then talking to these guys, so there's more accountability, and I think accountability is probably the biggest thing. Uh, when you have people around you and you're talking the talk, well, the sign of your true character is if you're going to walk the walk. So talking about what you're going to do, and as Graham has seen, I now post. Uh, I either post the workout I'm doing for the day, or I report in on what I did for the day. So I'm reporting in on exactly what I'm doing every day. So that's holding me accountable on Facebook again. So obviously, we're using Facebook as a tool for many things here, and that's something that you can do as well. Support groups, reporting in, taking a picture, all those accountability things help. And then, yeah, I mean, just recently I was just looking at a few highlights, and I looked back at how I looked even 4 months ago, and I'm like, well, I have made a lot of progress since I started talking to more people about getting in shape. So uh, always feel like every 2 to 3 years, reinventing yourself. You know, you don't want to get stuck in the same routine if you don't feel you're being successful at it. If it's not something that you wake up looking forward to, uh, really take a look and say, yes, let's reinvent this. What do I want to do? And I was a little interested in doing the CrossFit thing for a while, but in the end, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm an old muscle head, so That's kind of what I've gone back to. I've incorporated some more cross training type of stuff just to maintain function. But for me, I always go back to my old bodybuilding days, and that's the thing that I'll talk with people about, and that's what keeps me motivated.
Okay, super. I was in a health food shop today, and I saw there a lot of different energy drinks and protein bars and some raw food. And I was wondering, are these things really an important part of a fitness diet, or even do they help at all? And how do I know what to choose when I see those things advertised and on shelves and things? Do they help? Are they useful?
I always tell people because I haven't followed the latest new things as far as that's concerned because I'm not in the competitive arena anymore. I will tell because I do train high school athletes as well, and luckily for me, one of the most talented high school athletes that I have doesn't use any protein powders, nothing. His parents know that he should be eating natural food, so even his protein shake doesn't have protein powder in it. It's yogurt and milk and different things like that. So and he's got colleges recruiting him. He's actually a highly successful high school athlete. So and he's not taking any supplements. So it always comes down to this is what you have to look at. When they call it supplement, it's the word supplement. It's supplemental to a good diet. Okay? So you should be taking in what you need to with basic whole foods. Okay, you want to stay away from processed foods. You need lean proteins. You need a variety of vegetables. You need moderation of carbs and fats. Like I said, you need healthy fats. You need grains. You need all the basic stuff like we were talking about earlier. And if you need to enhance your recovery, and like with me, I don't have a big appetite. I could eat one big meal and one small meal a day, and I'm totally fine as far as my appetite. But for me, I do need to supplement my appetite with more nutrients. So I will do at least two protein shakes a day. And again, it's nothing fancy. It's just pure whey protein, and there's no extra secret ingredients in it. It just has all the basics in it, and it's just supplementing my macronutrients. You hear the macro thing now all the time, and that's what they're talking about, your protein, carb, or fat. So I supplement my protein intake because I know I need to take in more than what my appetite uh, usually uh, tells me to take in. When I was competing in bodybuilding, I would eat 4 cans of tuna a day, 3 or 4 chicken breasts a day, at least 6 to 12 eggs a day. I don't want to do that. I don't have time to do that. So I supplement now with protein especially. So as far as and that's just it. There's all these supplements are marketed very well, okay? But if you're not doing the basics, if you're not doing proper consistent exercise, eating properly on a consistent basis, then you shouldn't be looking at a supplement to solve any of your plateaus you may be hitting. Okay, and as far as fat burning stuff, I'd really be very careful with that stuff because anything that raises your blood pressure is dangerous, and I don't know how they get them over the counter anymore. So just really be careful what you're taking in. If it's a diet supplement that's supposed to raise your metabolism, you should check with qualified people, physician, or whatever, whoever you trust in that respect, about taking stuff like that. I don't recommend any of those things as far as long-term health because you end up burning your adrenal glands out, and then it's harder to keep weight off the older you get because you basically burnt out your system on too much caffeine, all that stuff that's going to burn calories for you. It's artificial and it's just wearing your system down. So be very careful. Again, basics, always the basics. Basics usually wins the race, long term race.
Super. Some of my clients have had problems in the past with finding a decent gym or a fitness coach or instructor to help them with a program or help them get started. Are there some signs or things that people can look for when they go to a gym or when they're looking for a coach and they don't have much experience to know in which direction to go, to know if somebody is going to be a good coach for them, to know if a gym is going to be a gym? For example, in this town where I live, beautiful Banska Bystrica, central Slovakia, there are many gyms. And how do I know which one to go to? How do I know where to start? How do I know which one is the right one?
Well, again, the word of mouth, like I said, the resources of the people around you, the people you see that are healthy, the ones that go to whatever gym you may want to check out first, get their opinion. As far as trainers, this is the thing because I'm starting to have more resources to train trainers. Again, I always feel like when people come to me, I want to know what their story is. I want to know what their why is. Uh, they should want to know what's motivating you. Okay, I don't like it when trainers come in and say, "This is my cookie cutter approach. This is my philosophy. This is what I'm going to have you do, and this is going to be your success." Now, for some people, it works. Like they can turn off their brain. They just do what they're told. They don't question anything, and sometimes it works. But if you've had trouble, and we're talking now, people in their 40s, 50s, 60s for me, they've been through that. They have lives now where they're busy, or they have health issues, or they've overcome health issues, or their families are bigger now and they have to spend more time dealing with that. Uh, they can't just do a program. It's like every day is a little different. So the trainer, I feel, has to adapt to that. I'm not saying the client has to tell the trainer what to do, but the trainer has to have a very flexible program for the client so that they do it long term. So if you go in and you talk to a trainer and they're not really listening to your story, and if you don't feel they're interested in your story, and then they're not doing things to adapt their program, it's still their program, but they have to adapt it to what you're capable of doing on a consistent basis. If they're not willing to listen to what it is that you have to say and adapt their program, then it's probably not a good fit. Plus, you have to see what their background is, because there's a lot of former athletes that like to become trainers. Well, if you're not an athlete, they don't understand a lot of the things that you go through. Like with me, I was never athletic. Like I told you, I had a broken leg, I was chubby, and then I got the pneumonia, and I was super skinny. I was never a really natural athlete, so I can relate to a lot of clients that just don't have that background, who get injured easy or just aren't going to understand how to do, a deep back squat. Just a lot of things that I won't have clients do. They don't need to. It's like it's too complicated. It's not something that they need to spend that much energy on focusing on when there's simpler things that they can do. So if you feel like it's a struggle to communicate with your trainer, it's probably not the right fit. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can try one, two, three, four trainers. You don't have to commit to any one trainer until you find the right fit. So just keep that in mind too. And you're gonna, hopefully you get to a point where it's like, there are times where I'm like, yes, some people do want me to adapt everything I do to their lifestyle. And there is a point where I have to say, look, this is how I do things. If it doesn't resonate with you, then you probably need to go somewhere else, you know? So it works both ways. And your trainer has to be honest with you about that too. Because if they really feel like, well, you're not really listening because you keep saying you're not gonna eat ice cream anymore, and then you said you just ate ice cream again. Well, if you're not following through, I can't follow through with my part. So it's a relationship. You have to have respect for that trainer, and the trainer has to have respect for you. If you don't feel like it's there, go ahead and look for somebody else, and hopefully you will find somebody good. But it's an ongoing process, and I'd say 4 out of 5 times you're going to find somebody that will end up being a good fit. But there's always that one person that, yeah, you may have to walk away from and say, not for me. It's just, I don't think you're really listening to what I need to progress. So, and then as far as gyms, same philosophy. If they want to sign you up to a 5-year contract and aren't really listening to your story, the management really isn't going to be there for you. And you just have to really kind of look, and they should offer you trials, a week trial, a month trial, just depending on what it is that you want to do. So really look at really look at if they're listening to you, but not just listening to you, calling you out on some of the things you need to be called out on. If you respect each other, then that'll be a productive process.
So respect, and you need to make sure that they're listening to you and your needs, and hopefully tailoring the fitness program to exactly what you're going to need for your level of fitness as well. That's super cool. Rudy, thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much for your time today and your expertise and knowledge and a bit of background there. I really appreciate all of that. To anyone who finds this video online, you can you can leave a comment there, leave a question, and I'll pass it on to Rudy. Rudy's website. What's your website, mate? Got a website out there?
Rudy'sHealthAndFitness.com.
Yeah, and I don't think we told everyone where you actually are. So where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Long Beach, California. That's Southern California, just south of Los Angeles. And I have a private studio there. I have about 60 clients that I train on a regular basis. And like I said, I started out in physical therapy, so a lot of my training background relates to making sure people's health issues and former injuries are getting rehabilitated, and they're building a body that will serve them well long into their elder years, I guess you could say.
And if there are people who you can't meet in real life face to face, is it possible for you to do some consulting with them over the internet, maybe, or through Skype or something?
Yeah, and again, you can join my Facebook page, and again, it's facebook.com/Rudy's Health and Fitness. So you could get on there. You can join the group there, and then you can post a question there if you'd like. So, and then we can just go from there.
I think that's a great idea. And you'll also find a community of people who are friendly and fitness orientated as well there. Right. My name's Graham, commonly known by my students as G. I'm the founder and director of Native Speakers Academy. We are a small private language school based in central Slovakia where we teach English and offer life coaching sessions. This has been a special supplementary session because we're testing our feeds on the internet for a lot more projects that we're going to have hopefully in the near future. That's about all we've got time for this evening. I just have to find a way of shutting down this live broadcast online as my desktop is just like full of pictures and things flashing and things moving across it and numbers going up and down and levels, and that's what happens when you work with all the tech and technology. I think that I shut down this interview by hopefully it says, do you want to end the live session? Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to end it, and hopefully it's going to happen now. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Speak to you again soon.